Before joining Codeworks, I just graduated with my associate's degree, and I was actually going to go to college for computer science. And I had lots of friends who like had degrees, and then they weren't doing well in their jobs, and they were complaining that like, hey, like it's like I'm having to learn everything all over again. So they were the one actually telling me like, hey, you should actually just do a boot camp or something like that. And then I actually researched lots of boot camps, and I found Codeworks because it had like pretty good reviews, and it had like a really, I think like 4% acceptance rate. So I was like, took it as a challenge. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. So yeah, and I actually didn't think I would get it, honestly. So I had like my boyfriend was like, hey, can you open the email? Tell me if I got rejected because I don't want to see that. So he actually saw it, and then he was like, oh my God, you didn't get it? And I was like, no, just joking with me. And then just like, I'm just kidding. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I was living in Colorado back then. After I was done with Codeworks, I moved to Seattle. Actually, it was funny. The first interview I ever got was for Google. So I did like 9 technical interviews with Google. Like recruiter reached out to me, and then I actually passed. Like thank God for all those like algorithm solving, or like do you know how we had like toy problems in the mornings that actually prepped me for these like algorithm interviews. It was like perfect. I actually killed it. I actually did pretty well on those interviews. You know, the funny thing is, was like their interview questions were easier than the toy problems we've done. And then while I was in Seattle, some recruiter reached out to me. It was like, hey, we have an opportunity with Microsoft. Like, would you be interested? So like that was my first job, like interview, and like first job ever in the field. So I was like, yeah, sure, let me try. I actually went to Microsoft's like office, walked around, like just, feeling how it feels to work there in person. But I actually ended up working like remote. So he was the lead manager of teams, and I worked under him, and he interviewed me, and he was actually pretty impressed for the algorithm solving, because I solved it, and then I was able to give him like, hey, this is the big O notation, this is how da da da, and I was also be able to like provide another solution, not just like simple one. So I don't know, he pretty liked it, and he was just like, and he was also, I think one of the reasons that he like hired me, decided to go with me, was that how like well-rounded like all the frameworks that we learn, like not a lot of people right out of college don't know like relational database, like non-relational, like cached, and then the different frameworks, Angular, React. Like I think it looked really good on my resume. So when he started like asking me, and he was just like, oh my God, like a lot for like the junior developer, he was just like, you know a lot. So he actually just told me, I was like, okay, I decided to go with you because you're like pretty well rounded, and we need people like that around here. So yeah, actually ended up working on a bunch of different things, starting from pipelines with like analytics, from QA, DevOps, coding. So it's pretty cool. It was pretty intense though. Like I think the first like job being at Microsoft, it kind of scared me at first. I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. Everybody's so smart. And I was just like kind of like comparing myself. I was like, but these people have been working for 5-10 years. They have like crazy years of experience. So it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna take it easy. And my manager made sure to like always tell me like, you're doing well, like don't be anxious, you're doing super well. Like he was actually wanting me to join his team. And then during that time, I actually got a job with the company that I'm working for, which paid way more than the contract. So I was like, okay, I might just go with this company. But this company is very like work-life balance. It's very chill. Each company, even this company, has their own internal AI, because they understand it's like people like using AI. It's like they're able to do their jobs more efficiently and like time saving, and like they want to get the best out of best performance. It's like your assistant. You call the shots, but somebody is like researches and tells you like, hey, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. It's gonna be hard, but like do not give up, because it's gonna be worth it at the end. Like it changed my life basically. I don't know. I worked like bunch of like customer like support jobs before that, So I've dealt with like real customers, and then this job is like way nicer. And I can travel. I actually traveled. I went to Korea, Kazakhstan, Canada, Mexico. I traveled all around Europe while working. So that was, I think that like not a lot of people get to do that. So, and then I was able to like, I'm still pretty young, but I have 3 properties that I own with my fiance, and then I have a bunch of money in like in the Fidelity investment. Like I wouldn't be here without Codeworks.